Toshi of Toshi, who stepped in at the last.
Hey,
Toshi is all the
hello.
Toshis. I love all the Toshis. And today is backup Toshi who filled in very last minute for
Let's go.
our guest who is ill. And I want to say a quick shout out to Shadow and Zach and Andrea and Darius and Ryan. I see you all down there, and Little Prop House too. So we're excited to have you all here. We have a fun show for you today. So Mimics, what are some of the things we need to just chat about and let everybody know about before we get started? And why don't you tell them a few things, and I'm going to pin some tweets.
Yeah, of course. First of all, if you did see our Twitter, we had a giveaway, and it closed on Tuesday, this Tuesday. We chose our winner. We'll be announcing it here on the Twitter space, and of course, our biggest news are that we still are accepting submissions for the second round. One ETH, 5 proposals. We are just missing a couple of days. It will close on October 17th.
It's coming up fast. So if you have an idea, if you are a woman non-binary, or you have an idea for something that would help to promote Lil Nouns to women in those women and non-binary in our community, we would love to see those proposals. So please, please, please check out the pin tweet that I just popped out there. If you have any ideas, we'd love to see them and get them in by October 17th. And okay, 1 second while we regroup And get back in. Come on in, everybody. I'm going to try this one more time. Getting all the requests going. All right. Come on up.
I got my hundreds back and I'm using them.
Are you excited or what? Right?
I mean, I'm never going to stop. Just hundreds,
Right.
hundreds, solid hundreds the whole time. So everybody just get used to it.
Okay. Yep, get your soundboard ready there. We're going to need a few crazy sounds. So we're going to give this a second and hopefully everybody retweet the room again, please.
The funniest part is I had literally spammed like every Nounish Discord I'm in with the link, and then it just went by. But I'm going to go back now, delete those comments. So I'm just going to be quiet here for a couple of minutes while I go do that.
That is fine.
And I'll get the new space there for everybody.
We appreciate you doing that very, very much. Yeah, this is crazy. And I'm like, okay, where's all the people I saw before? Maybe I can just DM them. We're all here just a minute ago. Come back. Zach, Shadow. Oh, there's Shadow. Okay. Zach, who else? Come back. All right, so I'm glad some of you are back with us again. So very quickly, we're going to repin that tweet, and Mimics, just very quickly, if you could, just tell everybody again, just because we may have people listening to the recording and I don't want them to miss out on the information. What's going on? When are our props due and all that fun stuff?
Yeah, of course. As I was saying, we had a contest and it ended on Tuesday. And we're gonna announce the winner on the end of the Twitter Spaces, and also we have our second round open until October 17th at the end of the day. So make sure to get those proposals up there.
That is right. That is right. Please. We want lots of proposals. So do not don't hesitate on this. We want to definitely see what you got. So jump in there. You have any kind of idea that helps to promote Lil Nouns, proliferates the meme, that if you're a woman or non-binary, or it has something that would help with that particular community, please, please, please put your proposals in. We want to see them.
We have 5 funding. We're funding 5 proposals at 1 ETH each. And right now I think as of yesterday, there were 9, and there'll probably be quite a few more coming in over the weekend. But, pretty good odds, it's an ETH. An ETH's an ETH.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Super excited. And then we also have a contest that was happening over this past week. We do have a winner selected, and we will be announcing that towards the end of the show. We also have a bunch of little prop houses happening throughout the week. So please be sure to check out the Noun Square. You'll see them posting different soapboxes, notices, things like that. So make sure you're checking that out and following along with that, because there's so many great shows. I can't even keep them straight. I think tonight is NARS after us. So you can stick around, and they'll be starting up, I think, around 8 o'clock. I'll go try and find that. But right now, I want to turn this over to Pixel and Backup Toshi. Again, for those who didn't hear that part earlier, we have another amazing woman scheduled for the interview, and hopefully will be with us later down the road, but had to cancel last minute, wasn't feeling well. And the fabulous Contest Toshi, Toshi, Nap Toshi, all the Toshis, including the Backup Toshi, is with us today. Toshi, I forgot Toshi. And so I'm going to turn this over to Pixel for our interview with the fabulous
Yeah, boy.
I am feeling the hype. I am feeling it. I really love the soundboard of Toshi.
That was the Toshiest introduction ever.
It is the Toshiest. Well, you are the Toshiest. You bring the Toshi wherever you go. We are so excited to have you here. I know that it wasn't planned for you to be on tonight, but we had planned to have you on at another date. So we are so excited that you were able to make it today. And plus, I just feel like you have such a really inspiring nounish story. And also, just like I would love to hear more about how you got into Web3 before nouns, because I only know you through nouns, which you've
Yes.
done so much. So I'm just like, it really is staggering, honestly, like how much nounish, how many nounish things you're into. But I am so excited to find out more about you overall. And then you had said you wanted to talk about nouns on the ground, which is just so fun and really exciting. So, yeah, we're gonna get started. Is there anything you would like to say first before I just dive in and start asking you some questions?
No, I mean, thank you guys so much for having me. I'm even just honored that you would think of me as someone to come to with a last minute thing like that. So I'm really happy to be here. You guys have been hosting awesome spaces, and I've been able to listen in to some and host from the main account for some too, but I really appreciate everything you guys do. And you guys are just like so freaking nice and supportive and community based, and I think that that's so necessary, just like in this whole ecosystem in general too, because it can get a little heated sometimes too. So I love that you guys have this space where you just love hearing about others and supporting others. And the Little Sisters Fund, being funded and funding other projects is so huge, and just speaks to you guys being builders who wish to support others and stuff too. So I love what you guys are doing, and I'm just really excited to not only have Little Nouns, but like to know you guys and to have known you prior to even Little Nouns, and to see how you guys have really like infiltrated that community in such a great way. So I'm actually really excited to be here with you guys.
Oh, feeling so much love. Oh, just so much love. It's so nice. Okay, well, awesome. I'm so excited to get started. So the first thing that I'll ask you is just we'll kind of start from before Web3. So what is your background outside of Web3?
Yes. Okay. So I kind of talk about it in like various projects that I do within the nouns, because I think that we've all sort of found a way to do what we do best, or kind of maybe what we like best for the first time, like while proliferating nouns or doing whatever little mini projects that we're doing, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like I have like such a diverse background, and not diverse like not in the way like one would think, like world traveled and stuff too. Like that has all been very recent, and because of nouns on the ground. And I think that I mean diverse by like different things that I've done that are so non-related, but now like later in life they do feel all related. Like the one single thing I may have taken from one job, be it like dishwashing, as my first ever job, and like working at a pizza shop and like cooking and doing all that fun stuff, to going and basically being like free for work, like an intern, but for like a huge PR company or something too, right? It's just like very different, but so not, because like the discipline you learn from like dishwashing or in the back of a kitchen is like everything you need to carry on with you, just kind of in a normal work environment, I feel like. But so that's what I mean by diverse
I
too.
want to double click on that really quick, because
Yes.
I
Mm-hmm.
say that all the time to
Mm-hmm.
people who talk about, like, my first job was bussing tables.
Mm-hmm.
I worked in restaurants, and I think that's so valuable, because
Yeah.
the things that you learn there, and there are hard jobs that are in hospitality,
Yep.
but you learn so much, and especially in terms of customer service, and
Yes.
yeah, all of that. So just wanted
Yeah.
to.
Well, there's probably like that customer service type of background, or like involved in all the things that I've been involved in, be it like marketing or anything. But basically, I have just been, I always like joke that I like peaked in high school, because I was just like that girl, like, oh God, like maybe everyone in this room might have been like vastly annoyed with me, but I just like, like spoke at
That's
graduation,
a
like
mood.
really cared way too much for like a child. It's very strange. Um, like involved in theater, but then like also doing that. I don't even know. Like it's crazy.
This
But
all tracks. I just want to say all tracks.
like,
Yeah, I've heard all this info before, so I feel like it helps to share the reaction that I had when she first told me this was Toshi was a theater kid? You do surprise me.
I was literally just joking around with someone the other day. Like, I was that kid that was like in first grade, like raising my hand, like, hello, Mrs. Teacher. Like, is there anything you need help with? Like, how can I help you? Like, just strange.
Oh my God, we are the
Strange.
same
I
person. It's
but
bizarre.
The
We're
three
the
of us share a
same.
brain cell.
Same.
yes. And
That
I
happened earlier.
feel
Yes,
like
where
there's
we all
actually
said the
a
same thing
lot
at the
of
same time. Yes, we all have the
yes.
same brain.
Exactly. And I feel like there's a lot of similar people who maybe built like this or their brain works like this here, which is why I feel like I've been comfortable like building within this community. But after that, it was a lot of years of, you know, not being so much upfront and like really being an observer, a listener, like a literal trash personal assistant, like production assistant, like on set, like go get me my coffee, like, and don't ever speak. Like, I don't want to hear you breathe. And like, I really mean that I spent years and years and years doing that. And so as much as I joke around about like being a kid and like all that stuff and working then, I feel like those years and a lot of my basically like all my 20s was spent in jobs where I was a part of huge things and productions and agencies and public relations and marketing and stuff too. And I got chances to be leaders in that for sure. But then as I started to like really want to take everything to the next level, I became that observer or that person in the room that sort of like was always in the room, but you know, just really taking in like what it took to become like maybe a person operating at that level of the people that I was working for.
So
So I
valuable.
Oh my God. Yes. And so I think that that has always been like my mantra too. It's like, I don't care what I'm doing. I don't care if I'm literally like the door person. I want to be in the room. Like, I want to know what's going on. I'm nosy as hell. Like, I need to be like, what are you guys talking about? Like, what are we planning? What's
There
happening next?
there really is so much to it though, and I'm hoping everybody's hearing like the wisdom in what you're saying and like all the like gems that can be gleaned from what you're saying, because it really is so important. Like, just do whatever it takes to get in the room. Like, you don't have to feel like you are, the most important person there in order to really get the value of being there. And even if you don't talk to anybody, it's still valuable to listen, like you're saying. But 99% of the time, 9 times out of 10, or 90% of the time, I guess it's 9 times out of 10, you will get to talk to people. You will get to meet them. They will treat you like a person, and they will speak to you. And then you'll start knowing those people. And network is so important. And your attitude is just so golden. I'm hoping everybody's listening.
Well, because it's
I
about like,
actually, and now I honestly
mhm.
have in the room where it happened stuck in my head, going on a loop from Hamilton right now. So I just wanted to tie in the theater kid part of this. So well done.
That's so funny. And I really like, I just feel like that would be the biggest piece of advice I could give to anyone, because be it like whether or not I was like catering or working maybe for a specific chef or something while catering, so then you get used to like the different families or something that they work for. So whether it's like getting to know literally those family members or these kids that you'll see around all the time and like they get to know you, or all the way down to like, I'll never forget, I went to fashion school like right after high school. So as much as I was like this overachiever person, I in like this fall of my senior year, before anyone had done any applications, like no one's done their SATs. Like, I know this is forever ago, but you know that that's like the most important time, right? I literally had just like in September like applied to fashion school and got in Los Angeles, and I was like, it's done. And so just like showed up to all my tests, like I didn't even care. I didn't apply anywhere else. It was this very strange thing that happened, and like I just had the idea set in my mind that that's where I needed to be. And even if it wasn't for specifically fashion, I just like wanted to go to the heart of Los Angeles. And I grew up a little bit outside of that area. So I just think that the big city called me and I just completely did that. But I'm happy that I did, because there was a lot of opportunities there. It was a very small school, lots of girls. And I literally have not been around that many women since fashion school. And that's not even a stereotype. It was just so much fun. And like a classroom like of girls only, which, and I'm so not even that person that even I really try to not separate like men and women. And I think that they're like, we should all be together. Like, I couldn't imagine a world
Yeah.
where either one didn't exist. Like, it would just not be okay, right? So, but it was a fun time. And just right when I started working there, they had like these events, and I'm talking like when you're in the room, and what I mean by that is you never know who you're going to meet, and we're all just normal people. And even like the busiest people ever, right? You end up just around people, or Prof and Pixel, like we got to randomly meet in July, like in New York. And like I know it's not the last time we'll ever see each other. And so like that's happened. And now we've connected, and now we're working on other projects that are going to help like restock the profs students food pantries. And then me and Pixel have been talking about all the things that she's going to do like with fashion and stuff too, which is so cool, and I can't wait to continue that conversation. But
That's right.
you are in the room not to be all about what's happening in that room right that second. You're there to see who else is there. And like you might see a person or really vibe with a person that could be a part of your next experiences that you go through. And like literally from a fashion school event called a gifting suite. So of course, I'm so sorry for like I sorry to like even just talk about these things like it's normal. These things are not normal. This is not a normal experience.
It isn't fashion.
It is in fashion, and it is in Los Angeles, but they do have these events where people will come like that are deemed celebrities or whatnot, and then they are basically you can set up a booth. Like we would set up a Nounish booth there. Like even little sisters could come and like with really cute little things or something, like a little mug, like a little sister's little canteen, and you basically give it out to all these celebrities, and they're
swag bags,
photographed walking around with it. Yes, yes, yes. And so why that matters is because like it just gets it's like guerrilla marketing 101. It just gets these things on this cup or something or a bag someone's holding that people kind of care about. And even if like they're never associated with it again, if someone finds you through that, that's amazing, right? And they might just like then form a relationship with you. So while working at this event, I saw this one guy who was like a publicist, and he had tons of clients. And I literally went up to him, and had to have been, I think I was 18 at the time. And I just said, what do I need to do to work for you? I'll do it for free. And do you need help, like an assistant? And he said, what are you doing tomorrow? And I literally got to go and work the Nickelodeon Kids Choice Awards. And I will never forget it because, like, I feel like probably around the time that I was in college is when there was this really big fight to not have free work. And I really, really understand that. But I also understand that sometimes if you just see that like opportunity right there, you have to take it. Like, why wouldn't you? Because that led me later. The time that I put in was a good investment of my time. It ended up paying later. And that can be really difficult. And that is not anything anyone can be expected to just do or like be okay with doing. But I do also just recommend if you ever see that sort of opportunity there and you can sort of invest that time, you know, in like I was, wearing pretty like basic outfits to these things, like just all black, because I got to be just like I'm in the background as like an assistant. So it's like the cost too, you can keep down, like, but I just really owe, I think, any knowledge I have of anything to just the ability, I think, to just kind of just like launch into something and know if I want to be there, or basically know or like can feel if there like could be a place for me there. Right. So
right. Well, how do we get lucky enough to have you in Web3? Like how did you end up like journeying into Web3? What happened?
I, took an interest in it at the end of 2021. And it was like a client of mine had talked about NFTs, and I had like kind of heard about them before as well, and just was not scared about it and just dove right in and tried to learn as much as possible. Definitely got way into more of like the building side of it. And like I'm definitely, I don't know if you guys know about like Sketchy Ape Book Club and Daniel Botha. He is like known for basically there's like a whole like freshman class of people that can like launch a single very simple Solidity code contract for basically like a 10K NFT project, right? And it's because of him. He was like the first person to ever come out with these insane like walk you through it tutorials. And so I was trying to almost like go that route. But it's so very obvious when you get into like just like let the masters do it. And like there are people that have been studying Solidity for years, and like, but it is good to know from like a project management standpoint, like sort of what you're looking at. So like even anybody like watching those tutorials, I think is a good idea. And you want to like know, it's kind of like interesting to pop around in the contracts and see what's written in there. And then it like you start having that like better understanding as well. Like when people talk about like their wallets getting drained, or, like a bad NFT in their wallet, you understand like that can be happening from 2 or 3 lines of code in the contract, which is crazy. So I think it's good to know like those things too. But then after that, I mean, I literally found and reconnected with an old friend who asked if I and my partner knew about nouns, and we had both been like sort of NFTs for a couple of months too and had not heard of them. So basically end of February, beginning of March is when it all kind of went down for the first time. And I don't know if you guys have any similar stories of, I don't really feel like I've been around that long, like at
It's
all.
about the same time frame because I came in around, well, January is when I really started to look at nouns, and then March is when we got the small grants for
Mm,
flora nouns. So it's about that same time frame
wow.
I
in
started the
terms of
last
nouns.
week of March.
I
Yeah.
was
So
I have crypto kitties from December 2017, so I was already kind of into NFTs,
Wow.
but I disappeared for a little while and then came back in like 2020, 2021. But nouns I found around the same time.
And I feel pretty fortunate too, because I feel like definitely the DAO governance side of it, I find fascinating. And I find that it makes NFTs worthwhile and have a purpose. And, you know, it's the utility everyone's been asking for, but they don't know that they need yet. Right. I feel like
Yeah.
there's definitely like groups of people still stuck into like utility being like a once yearly festival for holders, you know,
Right.
which isn't terrible. And I'm definitely not knocking on that. But I feel like the real utility that people are yearning for um, is this experience that we're sort of experiencing within the DAO, where, you know, there's that proposal process and people are building and connecting and grouping off together. And it just like, I know that you guys, I mean, we're all here today. Like,
Yeah.
it's one of those things once you experience it, you can't really go back to the older way. It's really interesting.
It's
Yeah.
funny that you say that about, the utility because I had like, especially in the summer when I was going to different conferences and things, and you talk about, people be ask me, what's the utility of nouns? I'm like, well, I think changing the world is a pretty good utility. And they'd be like, okay. I'm like, look into it. And I just leave it at that because it's, yeah, to get into that discussion about whether or not you're, free claim for a piece of, for free stickers as utility, as opposed to, a whole DAO literally changing the world, I'm going to go with that.
Yeah, and like the
Yeah.
conversations and the people and the projects that have happened. I see you down there, Darius. Like you're just another shining example of that. Like you're on the other side of the world and you're walking around the world in for nouns and with nouns and sharing your story along the whole way too. Like right before I had heard about nouns, I honestly was like in such a rut about NFTs anyways. I felt like it had become like a weirdo, like crazy, like almost like trading place where if I wasn't on a whitelist or didn't know something, or like, oh, this person, they make a Twitter that like drops their Discord for like 12 seconds and then they delete it. And then like if you didn't get in the Discord, like you're screwed. And it's just like I couldn't keep up. And I thought it was so strange. And it so like wasn't even the reasons I wanted to do any of that. And but I always saw the benefits of NFTs and like what they could stand for and be great for. And then that's when I discovered nouns and like was very much introduced to nouns by Prop House and like the very first round of Prop House. And so it was like, I had to get over that whole learning curve. And I really like to like take it all the way back there too, because I think it's important. Like it took me forever. It took me weeks to even understand what the hell was going on. I'm like, we put in proposals, we're random. You don't even know our names. You just have to have a wallet address. And it's like, for what? Like, what are we doing? Like, oh, well, I can build this. And then you have to like, you're like just taken on a whole loop. And I know you guys are probably experiencing that as you're now even fielding proposals for your guys' fund. It must be so interesting because I feel like the initial proposals of like someone who may do a great job, but maybe they're not great at writing proposals, like is all of us in the beginning. And it's not because we're not great writers or don't have great ideas, but it's because it's like you have to have a vast understanding of just the bigger picture, which is this CC0 and it's insane decentralization and these constant conversations within the DAO of like, okay, pushing those borders and or we're like, how what is decentralization? Like everyone like constantly trying to like be decentralized, but like knowing that it takes some centralization to accomplish that. So it's just like this bigger, huge thing. But I feel like once you're in that, then you get to like your guys' level where you guys are literally judging the proposals because you guys understand these things. And it's just like there is just not this experience happening, I believe, in other sort of groups that I have like observed. I love that other groups such as MFers and stuff like ended up creating like these communities and councils to sort of start the beginnings of running things like a DAO.
Yeah.
And then like I feel like when I explain DAOs to people out in the real world, which I'm like doing all the time, I'm so annoying, but if I meet anyone anywhere, it's definitely the thing I bring up now as opposed to like talking about NFTs, right? Because NFTs are just a part of it at that point, and they're a great big part of it, and they have a huge role, but it's the DAO really for me. And I always to break it down to the easiest thing possible, like compare it to like an HOA or something, like a condominiums association, like the
but
best.
A fun one.
Yeah, like
not a terrible one.
Well, exactly, because the whole point being like if this was that, like if this could replace that, it would like it solves all the problems that one might have within like a condo homeowners association, like the decentralized part of the voting, the not having to maybe reveal yourself there if you just have a wallet, like actually getting to talk about proposals and not just like have to meet and like yell at each other in a lobby for like 2 hours every month. I don't know. I don't really know how those things go down, but you know what I mean? Like
well,
it's
I
just
think
like a problem solver.
I think Nouns is probably more fun than that. I mean, I love hearing you talk about it. I love hearing you like speak about all the different values that you see in all these different parts of all of your experiences, right? Like all the things you did before and then coming into Web3 and then sort of seeing what's going on and like really just like exploring. I mean, really you have like I think what the Buddhists call like the beginner's mind, right? Like curious, open, and like ready to take advantage of situations. And I mean that in the best way, not like in a like, oh, you're taking advantage of things, but like really
No, I love that.
like leveraging, the situations to your to you and to like to play to your strengths so you can bring your light to the world, so you can bring yourself out and bring you what you offer to the table. Like it's just a beautiful thing. I mean, I have a question. What do you feel like really makes you feel supported as a builder and a creative? And that's like within Nouns or not within Nouns or whatever, but like what is it that like really that when you see it you're like, that's it, that's for me, it lights you up and you're like, that's where I'm going to be?
I think that the thing that is so apparent here is like the community. And like I honestly do not even have like a very like an IRL community around me. I just do not. I have this community. And like what I mean by community as well is the fact that like we can each come to each other with some new creative idea we have, or this other thing that we have coming up, or hey, we have the space that we are all going to be a part of together, or hey, did you vote on this, or hey, my project over here needs help with that. And like it's all interrelated and it's all part of the bigger picture somehow in this thing. I have not had this experience. I'm and since like being in school, right, where you're almost like grouped off and like all there for a single purpose anyways.
Right.
And like prof, like I know that you're still with university kids too, like that's where innovation is inspired. Like that's why everyone goes to college kids, to like they're the future, because they're all literally just gathering for this single purpose of like constantly being creative, coming up with new ideas, like learning from problems, like trying to be better and trying to like also learn how to do it all together as opposed to just like by yourself, right? And so I think that where it just like for me here as a builder is just an absolute supportive environment. I know it can be difficult for some people because it may feel like there are not a lot of people around at the moment who may know about your idea or be able to support you immediately or come to you right away, right? But I promise you that if you keep like just being open about who you are and the things that you like here and the things that you would like to build or accomplish, either on your own or with a team, like the other community part like will come, because it's just going to like naturally happen and stuff too. And I truly, prior to this, felt very much more like I was working alone all the time. Like I was stifled from creativity. Like I didn't have anything that I was really like super pumped on, and I was kind of like sad about that because I am very just like hyped and excited anyways, and I didn't know what to be excited about. So and I think people go through various like real life things as well, and so I let myself do that for a few years there, and got through all that too and came out. And I feel like through this community and like seeing how just excited all of you guys are, and you know, you start the whole space like by saying it's a love fest. Like I really mean that is just this thing that I probably didn't even think I would be a part of again, like in my adult life. Like I just didn't even think that was going to be possible for me. So that is the specialness that like makes me want to just continue to be here all the time, and you know, do fun things like the Noun Square, and then also get to just like come here and be real and like actually have conversations and stuff too. And I really, again, just very much appreciate you guys for that.
Oh,
I wanted to
you
mention
know,
something you just mentioned about fun. I
yeah.
was just talking with Chris. We were doing a little book club thingy, and we were talking about how it all needs to be wrapped up in fun, right? Because if it's not, what is
Yes.
the point? What is the point, right? Because most of the things we do in our lives are not fun, right?
Right.
I mean, you sit in traffic, you go to grocery store, you know, all the things, right? So
Yes.
why would I want to, if I'm spending my free time doing something, it better be fun, right? And then if it becomes my job, even better, right? In your case, right? That's amazing. But the fun has to be there. Or why are we even doing this? So to
Right.
me, that's what and we were talking about this. We wrap it, you know, we got to wrap it all up in fun, our whole entire, you know, whatever we're doing, which is great.
Yeah, I mean, like the fun is so motivating. I mean, that was going to be one of my questions to you is like, what is your biggest motivator? But I feel like you're already answering it. It's like, you know, the fun, the community. And when I say the
Mhm.
community, I mean it like in the most real way, like the
Mhm.
earnestness, right? Like the earnestness. I
Yeah.
feel like I don't see that everywhere in my life, right? That there are
Mhm.
people not only in nouns, but within Web3. I feel like Web3, you know, overarching, yeah, there's some craziness, there's darkness and there's weirdness and there's like some really bizarre stuff going on. But you know, there's also there's also some really amazing, incredibly curious people who are so earnestly trying to just make amazing things. And Abtoshi, you are just one of those people. So I feel like it just naturally fits and naturally you would gravitate here and feel valued and feel the value of it to you as well. Do you feel like is any of that making any sense?
Yes, 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 100%. I feel like that's why I like really enjoy doing the AUAs with the Nouns DAO, because like I basically I just like truly enjoy wanting to like get that process for people like off to the races, you know? Like I really want people to have that little, it's not a huge bridge, right? To like get to that moment where you're like, okay, I feel like comfortable like doing my thing in this environment, right? It's just not a huge bridge. It is a learning curve, but I really just enjoy the benefits of what I feel like it's brought for me personally. And I like see so much talent here. And I just like can't believe how natural talent kind of just like gravitates towards this area. So I really truly believe that anyone that even finds this place, it's like this amazing little like island, right? If you see a ship coming, you're like, ah, they knew they got here. Like no one has this on. Like I really mean, like I thought, like I felt so strange when I had found out about them. I'm like, I am in NFT, Twitter, crypto, Twitter, like all day. I was in spaces. I would like fall asleep in spaces, and I had never heard of nouns, and I just cannot even believe.
Naptoshi.
That's why
For
it
those of you who
happens.
don't know, that's exactly how
Oh
she
my
got
god,
the nickname
that is
Yeah,
Naptoshi.
I was gonna say, what is this past tense you're using? What do you mean you used to fall asleep
oh
in
my
Used
Yeah,
to.
space?
god.
used to.
I'm honestly
You
realizing that
still
that is
do.
why it happens, because I used to like I liked the sounds of people just talking, and I would use it to fall asleep. So now, see, it all makes sense.
I can confirm I have seen her drone like just drowse off in the middle of a dinner table when me and Checo are talking. It's honestly incredible to watch.
I
it's
find your
it's
voice
such
is
a
very soothing, and I'm not going to apologize for that.
By the
yeah. I
way,
mean, it
she
really
does own naptoshi.eth, and the reason I know that is because I bought it for her. And she does have it for 5 years.
you
Something like
guys are
that.
like making me make my cackle laughs, which are very special. I just want you to know.
I
Well,
love it.
I have a question that I usually ask as like one of the interview questions, and I do have to like give credit to Britt who is one of the little sisters who won a proposal to do these spaces, and then her schedule changed so dramatically that she wasn't able to actually do them. So she has these amazing question lists, and so I can't take credit, but she does have these great questions. And this one, I'm just like, I don't know if it fits you, but it's like, what's one thing you would tell yourself now? Like you would tell yourself, your younger self, like if you could go back to your younger self and say like, hey, here's something I want you to know about how it's all going to turn out. Like, because I'm not sure if it fits you because you seem to be like really fine with like how everything's gone, but like
Well, I appreciate that. That took a lot of work.
yeah.
But I think exactly what we've been talking about is that fun piece. I feel like it took me way too long just to realize that. And I kind of always knew it. Like you're just, I don't know. And I know that it's kind of against the whole saying of like, you never know when you're just basically gonna die. Like I hate that saying. It's like you could be gone tomorrow. It's like, okay, I don't know if that's gonna be my mantra. I'd like to think like I have like a different weird thought about it. It's like, well, okay, if I'm going to be here 10 years from now and I'm going to survive all this crap, because I've obviously proven to myself that I can basically get through anything and like nothing can take me down, because I will literally survive anything, because like I just would never let myself not, right? Like whatever that means to anyone, I've definitely have that in me. And so it's like, okay, so in me too, then my ego, I'm happy to say that I have that ego that's going to say, okay, that I'm going to rock it for 10 years and survive through all of it. Yeah. Somehow, some way.
Relentless.
But then also, so if that's true, then I need to also be enjoying that. I need to like
you can't just be the ob Terminator.
A new one. Very nice.
There you go.
No, but it's true. It's true. Yep. It's important because like I am a person that's prone to being a little emotional and can like be really sad for others and for people and for the world and like life and stuff too. And like you just don't want to ever feel like, and I don't think others should feel like that they have to go down that rabbit hole emotionally to maybe even feel like they're that person that could have that emotion or to express it or like to even explore it, because it is a beautiful thing to have. And I'm not saying to shut down emotions and stuff too. Like it's so beautiful. I have my, I and deal with all of them too. But I feel like in a world, maybe a really caring person could have, that thing in them that can make them be a little bit more sadder sometimes because they care. Right. And so I think that instead, like take it like the opposite way, like care and be like really excited about it somehow. I don't know. And maybe just a little less hard on yourself is, I guess, what I would say.
Yeah. I feel like we get variations on a theme. I feel like everybody is like, kind of like, don't be so hard on yourself, little one. You're gonna be all right.
Yeah, and it's such a weird thing that old people would say to you as a kid, and you're like, what does that even mean? Like, what? Like, I'm going through this crazy thing right now. Like, can you not see it? And it's like, I wish I would have taken the laissez-faire-ness of like older people that were telling me that as like a sign, because that just kind of meant like, well, you got through it. Like, like the first time you go through anything is going to feel like just the craziest thing ever, but it's just the first time. It's just teaching you how you're going to get it through it the second time and the third time and stuff like that. So it's definitely just to be a little bit more maybe calm about all that.
Right. A little more perspective. But how do we get perspective? We have to tell our younger selves.
Yeah. I know.
Well, I have
as they say, youth is wasted on the young.
Oh my God.
Isn't it true? We have to tell our younger selves who are incapable of learning from others' mistakes to try to learn from others' mistakes.
That's right.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, you wouldn't probably, even if you showed up to talk to your younger self will be like, yeah, but not for me.
Yeah, my younger self would not be in this Twitter space, because my younger self's version of having fun was just like, I don't know, like wailing around and just like being like hyper excited and just doing live events and things too, but just excited.
I just have to like point out that this is the calm Toshi we're doing right now.
Yeah, this is subdued of Toshi.
This is like the laid back version.
Yeah, pensive Toshi.
I'm so jealous that you would be able to have an interesting conversation with your younger self. If I showed up to my younger self, it'd be like, I'm you from the future, and he'd be like, where'd the boobs come from?
But that is what would happen.
I mean, maybe it would be like, those are amazing. How long do I have to wait?
Maybe.
Maybe. Just maybe. I mean, not to put boobs in your mouth or anything, but like words in your mouth, but boobs. Oh my God.
Well, so awkward. That's weird. So awkward. And
I can't breathe.
also thankfully recorded. So yeah, you're welcome.
Just a friendly reminder that the Noun Square is a family-friendly show.
Yes, thank you, Noun Square.
Okay. So to bring it back
for non-family friendly, please see BS Radio Shadow. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. But that's what we love Shadow Show. But there you go. For the adult version of this show, BS Radio is for you.
Well, I'm just going to note that it's 7:18. We do have a few things to wrap up at the end, but I do want to just kind of bring it back to the fact that this is the Little Sister space, and I want to give Abtoshi sort of a last couple things to like sort of wrap up. I would like to give you some time to say whatever you want at the end. And I only have one more question that is not necessarily whatever you want to talk about, but if you have any thoughts about do you have any thoughts about how more women and non-binary builders could change the space, like how doing things like we are at Little Sisters can actually like advance the space?
Yes, I think it's gonna have to be just, this is such a hard question for me too, right? Because every part of me wants to be like, just keep building, but I often find that there isn't those people to even tell that to in the space. So it's probably not even like a thing of like, we have to just keep on building and we'll all just keep joining groups and stuff too, right? Because I'm just not sure if that's it. And I'm on like, I'm really not sure if I have the answer, because I am this huge proponent, and I've talked about this in like multiple interviews and stuff too. I think I said it on Zach Radio Space. I've said it on like multiple calls, but I really like, I want to push almost like past this point of like, that the inclusion has to like be there as this almost this separate thing, because it almost like separates it out, right? It's like, you know what, you guys, like the lovely, amazing, fucking crazy people before us have like fought and fought and fought. And like at this point in time, like we have, our battle is like, there's still a lot that needs to be gained. And there's still a lot of things that are limited and like not allowed. And I know that to be true. And I understand that. And I've lived it firsthand. But as far as it comes like with the internet and like anything Web3 and stuff too, like as more people join, I just think this is like the most open forum for us to like, for anyone to have an opportunity to be heard, seen, talked to appropriately, find people who have similar beliefs to you, find people who have vastly different beliefs than you, be able to have discussions with those people in public, you know, being able to have discussions with those people in private. Like there really is no other space that exists like it. And it's almost like did we like get to Oz? And maybe that's not a great example yet, because or like, could Web3 and stuff be our potential Oz? And I know that Oz ends up being like this sort of like structure of this place, almost like whatever the capital is called, like in Hunger Games, where it's like, is that even like where, like, is it real, right? Like, is that even a fake place that's just like representing this fake thing? I don't know. But for now, like the Oz to me, like what that means is a place that like, okay, we can finally just do our work. Like I really truly have never had even a guy in any DMs or texts or tweets on Twitter or in any of the Web3 crypto space even bring up that I'm a girl or reference it at all. And like, to me, that was just like the biggest switch, because that still happens on like social media apps such as like TikTok, Instagram, like all these other things. Like it's almost like that's the only thing that's brought up. And so I think I'm so sorry for like stumbling over this question.
No, it's totally, I feel you. I feel you. Let me see if I can rescue you.
Because I'm like the biggest exponent. I am like, I'm a woman. Like, I want women
I
to.
think you just being out there and doing what you're doing is the best way for you to onboard more women.
Yeah.
Because they're going to see you out there because you're so visible. And I think that that is what is sort of like extra special from of what you're doing is representation.
Okay.
And you know, it's funny because when I heard about Nouns on the Ground, I did not know you were female until I met you in Times Square. And I was like, oh, wow. Oh, that's even better.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
I already liked this person, but now I like them more. You know, it was just like a little bonus. And I just think you out there doing your thing is what's going to be the biggest contribution to the space for
I love
for
you
that.
so, because I feel like I can always like describe things in like almost a metaphorical way of how I'm feeling, but you really did put the word to it, and it's representation. And like I always say, like I am a woman, but I'm also just like an absolute ally to all of it, because you're right. Like when I'm out there, like I just like had this thought the other day too. Like I really am like and want to be that, because even just in the sense of like this is how I used to always think, like before doing Nouns on the Ground and like going out there. I very much understand if you go on YouTube right now, like there are not a lot of women talking about crypto, NFTs, or anything, and I know that. And so I'm like, let's go, like let's get on video, let's be in the events, and let's show people what's going on. Even in the background too, like tons of my interviews are with women, surprisingly enough. Like they're there, they're great time, and everyone's together. And so I can't wait.
And that's that's a great point right there, because a lot of times the women we are here. We are here. Sometimes we're quieter, and the fact that you're out there doing interviews, it's more likely that women will talk to you, right? Because you're going to reach out to them. They're going to feel more comfortable. So again, that's another way that you're helping with that aspect, and it's really important.
And I do think that people seeing anybody who that they look like, they identify with, that they feel like represents them, seeing them in the space is just seeing anybody do anything literally in front of you. It does open your mind to say like, oh, if you identify with that person, like, oh, look at them, they're doing it, I could do that. Like
exactly. Representation matters. Hey, Shadow, did you have a question or a comment?
You know, it's funny. In hearing this conversation, I was thinking like I wanted to come up and say like it's just been cool to hear more of your story of Toshi. And I was gonna come up even before this part of the conversation started. I was gonna come up and say, you know, you were, I think, one of the first people that I talked to in the Nouns, like in the VC, when I came, and it was like it can be very intimidating. It was you and Tody, and I those of you, I remember you guys, and I remember like going after and like talking to like friends and being like, I don't know, it just really like touched me, I guess, in a way that I didn't even expect, you know, to be like, oh, there's like representation of like there's a woman there, and I don't know, there was something about it that I didn't even know that I was like necessarily like craving that or worried that that wasn't going to be the case or anything like that. But I promise you, like, that's probably why I'm still here, because like also the openness, like you being a woman, you know, but like, but just like, yeah, I don't know. It's funny. So I really do think that that's the way the world really works. Like we can be very external and be like, you know, fighting for this and that. And there's a time and a place for that. But I think just showing up, you know, as you are is quite powerful as well.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you.
True. That is so true, Shadow. And like I completely remember that was an AUA with me and Tody. And I remember hearing about you and like getting to brainstorm with you about the things that you wanted to do and like how that could even happen. Like, and now look at you. You have like a little noun with the hip rose glasses.
Look at that.
And like,
hello.
I just
we
realized that
see
the
you
hip
there.
rose also had like the thicker glasses. I really like that.
Yeah, the hip rose are different.
So
yeah, they're
cute.
special.
So cute.
There's just something about big eyes.
The hip rose glasses are extra special, though. If you didn't know that, they are thicker on the ends. So
they are,
and they're special.
They're very special.
Well, and that's what's interesting too. Like, I love that word, and Prof, that is so cool. That I feel like you could hold a whole space on just that word alone of like representation, because like getting people who are even now even more involved and like getting them just in front of things like in media, I guess.
Yeah.
Because
I
it's
think,
so true.
and also, I think that helps men maybe even understand why we feel this is important. It's like it's not a us versus them or anything. It's just like we just want to be seen. Like we
Yes, and
want to be
I'm telling you
included
right
and
now,
we just want to make sure you see us. That's
I feel
all.
like most dudes or guys, most men would literally, I'm sorry, I'm from California. They would literally not even feel like there was that separation. And they're like, yeah, whatever, you guys can be here. But they're also
They
maybe
don't, yeah,
understanding the need for like just to pull a couple in to like
Yeah.
I just really mean that from a sense of like I really want women to feel safe and
Yeah.
like I promise you, like most of the men, I would say like nearly all of them. And there has been such clear, not great, toxic people in my life, men and women alike, right?
Yeah.
I most men that I've interacted with, or anyone that's like creating stuff, or they're just doing their thing, or like there is not this like crazy separation idea or anything. Like I'm sure that everyone is just comfortable and happy to be around everyone. And so I'd like to like it's very interesting. I think that us having these conversations and stuff too is just going to continue to like almost I really want to like dispel that whole conversation around it too because I feel like it's more divisive than it is like in bringing us all together because it's just ridiculous and everyone has different things that they're great at. And again, the community and how a community survives is going to be all of us combining
Yeah.
those ideas and being able to make great things from them too. So if there is not one gender or the other that's like has the better ideas or can like solve all the issues, and like I
Right.
definitely feel like the whole like life is built on like the fact that we both need each other,
Yeah.
like so like and
If we
we
can,
do.
if we can be together, I mean, I think that the thing is that you said something about it earlier, and we do have to wrap up, so I won't make this very short. But it's like there's something about seeing somebody that you feel represented by that gives you a sense of safety, that you can do it too, that they're there and they're okay. And so probably that means you can feel safe enough to wander in, and you'll probably be okay too. And there is something about that because the way that our culture is, and the way that we're socialized from very young ages is like,
Mhm,
you're taught to know your place. And, just to be clear that the people that are sort of more privileged or dominant in our culture
mhm,
just have just an overall sense of like they can take more risk, right? Because if they mess up, it's just like maybe not as big a deal as what we're socialized. And maybe that's not true, or maybe, everybody has their own individual situation. But like when you see somebody doing the thing that you're like interested and
mhm,
curious about, it helps you
mhm.
feel safe.
Definitely. And like I think I just would encourage like women to just continue to be themselves and like it's so needed here. Like look at this amazing space that's happening here. Like I've actually I have not had a unique like real awesome conversation in a long time on Twitter Spaces. Like we're always doing
Oh,
fun things and we all have like structured shows and that's really incredible, but I've really really enjoyed this conversation with you guys and like you've provided that space and opportunity to just even get these things out of my head. Like it's so amazing. I really, really, really appreciate you guys. And like women are freaking amazing. And I hope that they continue to enter the space and build and be incredible and like in any form or fashion. And I really mean that. And men as well. Like
we're
there's
here for
so
you.
many talented men who have yet to be discovered as well.
That's
Like I
right.
really cannot wait. I feel like we're all still early. Prof, you being in 2017 is crazy. I love that. But
Yeah,
I
you
was
didn't
not
know that?
you.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
I always joke about that. Yeah.
And
I am NFT native,
and just
Ethereum to buy crypto kitties. So,
And
yeah.
and also to be clear that like the Little Sisters Fund is not only for women and non-binary builders who are, making something, but it also can be for anything that kind of benefits and brings more women and non-binary builders in. And so
I love
you
that.
don't have to necessarily identify yourself as a femme or feminine person or a non-binary person. You can identify as masculine in whatever that means to you, and you can come and bring your skills, bring your come as a team, or come just yourself, and bring your ideas. I mean, we're here for that too. So like, just so no one misunderstands.
Yeah, I think
like,
as long as it's attracting more women and non-binary to the space, that's another reason. Like that ties it to our mission. So as long as it's tying to the mission. And of course, it must be nounish.
It must be nounish. It must be nounish. And now it is 7:32. So I want to give Toshi. I want to give everyone who's in the space the chance to raise their hand and come up and ask any questions or say anything. And I want to give Toshi the chance to say any last words that she might want to say. And then we have to remind everybody. And I'll just take this opportunity to remind everybody again that as we're closing out the space, that we do have a round of proposals open for Little Sisters. We were just briefly speaking about like what kind of building we're looking to fund, but you can find out more about it by going to our Twitter, coming to our Discord. Your questions will be answered. You can go to address form and propose. We have our round closing. This proposal round is closing on the 17th, and it's basically like midnight Sunday night. So everybody who works during the week has the weekend to work on their proposal and then submit by midnight UTC of October 17th, which is Monday. And then it's going to be 5 proposals accepted and funded 1 ETH each. So just reminding everybody of that. I don't see any hands up right now. But if anybody has any questions or wants to say anything, let me know, or let the co-host know. Just make a request. And then with that, I'll let Toshi say any last words, and I'll let Prof. Werder kind of cue up the POAP. So anybody who wants a POAP and has been waiting for the secret word will get that.
Yay. Well, I won't keep you guys long. I know we've been like going over an hour, and I love the POAP. But I do just want to say thank you guys again. And then Little Nouns, just in general, freaking epic. And you guys are really just setting the standard of how to do this. And you guys were forced to, by like your cadence, to figure out how to do all of this and build this community and manage it successfully, literally overnight. And it's been very, very, very inspiring. I know that every day that I work with Food Nouns, which is also a sub-DAO, like we look to what you guys are doing. And I really mean that. So thank you guys so much for providing that, and for you guys actually being, so this is going to come full circle, but you guys are the representation in my eyes of the different types of sub-DAOs and other managed communities, and what that means and how you can be successful in that too. So thank you guys for representing. I look up to you every day, and Little Sisters, I'm just like, what a great initiative put forth by Little Nouns to have you guys around. And I hope it stays and like is like known as this thing within the Little Nouns DAO for a long time. So thank you guys again for this conversation. It's been really awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you, Toshi, for stepping in last minute.
Of course.
You're the best. You're one of my favorite people.
You're one of my favorite people, Prof. I really, really.
We're just gonna have a love fest now. I did just post. I love you. I just pinned at the top in the Jumbotron nesty thingy job. A little tweet from last night. Yeah, that showing the photos of Food Nouns donation to the FGCU food pantry. And we're working on more initiatives related to that in food insecurity on campuses. And this related directly to emergency assistance after the hurricane. And so I just wanted to give a shout out to Food Nouns and share that. And that is up top if you want to take a look. And Mimics, are you going to announce our winner? And do we have okay. And do you want to tweet out do you want to pin up their entry in the nest up there so everybody can see it? That'd be awesome.
I'll pin it up right now.
Fabulous.
Here it is.
Our winner is
Dexy. Came up with a pretty amazing idea here.
Dexy. And I don't see her in the audience, but we will let her know. And is it coming up? I want to see it. Did you pin it?
Yeah. I don't see it yet.
I don't see it yet. It takes a minute sometimes to refresh. Yeah. But it's there it is. Okay. She took her laces on her way to work and made them into noggles. So that was pretty impressive.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Right?
And the photo's really good too. Like the photo is artistic. It's kind of like really amazing.
Yes.
So Dexy is a winner.
And also was like, oh, please don't mind my dirty shoelaces. And I have to tell you, I was like, what? Right. And I like zoomed in. I was like, zoom, 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 zoom.
Me
and I was
too.
like,
I was like, what dirty shoelaces?
What dirt?
I know.
What dirt are we talking about?
I swear to God, I was thinking the same exact thing. I was like, what is she talking about? I don't see nothing. So anyways, loved that. We all loved that. It was unanimous. It was just, it was awesome. And just one last note to make sure if you're putting in a prop, get it in this weekend. We are excited to see what you are all coming up with. And then finally, we have a POAP. Mimics, do you have the POAP noise ready to go? Not quite yet, but get it ready. If you do not have the POAP app, you're going to want to go to poap.xyz and download the POAP app, open that up, and then you want to go to click on the plus sign where it says Mint, and then secret word, and your secret word is now the sound, please. Backup Toshi. Oop, hold on. Let me make sure it's actually working. Uh-oh. Let me make sure it's working. We may have run out. We may have run out of time. Hold on.
Oh no, I went past.
No. It's okay. I can reset it. I think that's what happened.
Hilarious word as well.
It hopefully it's updated. Let me try it again. Oh my goodness, it's not working. This is making me mad. Come on,
it's totally fine. Only make a couple of hundred.
All right. Well, I have the links. I'm taking a picture, screenshot, and I will DM links. So one way or another, we're going to get this done, but I'm going to try one more time to fix this. Hold on one second. Oh, I know why. Sorry. Hold on. I got it. I see what the problem is. Add 4. I have to add 4.
Prof for
UTC. Freaking time zones kill me every single time. Now try it. Let's see if it'll work.
Worked. There we go.
That's what it is. Yep, that was it.
We did it.
Because I was doing Eastern Standard instead of UTC. All the fun. Anyway, so thank you, everybody. You have your beautiful POAP art by Illustradora. So thank you, Illustradora.
Funded by the
You're
Little
amazing.
Sisters.
And we fund her to do our artwork for our POAPs and for our Twitter account. So all the art that you see on there is by her, and she is amazing. Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Shadow, for popping up, and BS Radio has been so fun. I listened in a little bit the other night. You can grab it on, it's recorded, so check it out. Super fun. Sponsored by Little Sisters, and thanks to Aptoshi and everybody else. And hey, Mimics, throw a song on by Girl, another prop winner.
Let's go.
As we go out. And
thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. And thank you, Al, for running us behind the scenes. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Prof, Pixel, Shadow, Little Sisters, Robot Bistro.
Love y'all.
Love you guys.
Did Al make a little Nowny clock? Those glasses look big.
Big eyes, big eyes.
With the love. All right, goodbye, everybody. 3, 2, 1.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
You can rug us, Al.